So I think I'm now recording. And yeah, so right before I pressed record today, hey everybody, Buki asked, what does this site need, right? So now that ABCD is a Catalyst funded project, and we're all so fired up about this, we want to get a initial version of the ABCD site out to the world. So let me share my screen. And we're going to look at where we're at so far. And let's make a to-do list for what needs to be done in order to be ready. And I just want to open up the chat so I have it here. Okay. And I'm so happy, Faye and Buki, to hear your voices this morning. I'm glad we have a good connection. Knock on wood that it lasts for a little while. So first of all, I will just do a quick git pull to make sure I have all the up-to-date changes. Have you two done anything that should be pushed before I start going today?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I've not done anything, but there's something I want to do. I want to add a video to the site, kind of let it look like an event or thing ABCD have been doing it. Like you want to watch some live videos to know more about ABCD. There's the one that Mr. Josh sent to me, but I've not added because I don't really know how to go about it in Next.js way. But assuming you're just plain JavaScript, I would have done that. I wanted to reach out to you to ask you I'm going to do it, but due to my exams, I don't have chance. Though I'm done with my exams now, so I'll be doing that later today.
Excellent. I truly believe that both of you are en route to being the full-time webmasters of ABCD. I'll be happy when we know that has happened. So let's do what it takes to get there. Speaking of the video, is there already a video on YouTube, or where is it hosted?
Yes, there's a video on YouTube. He sent it to me on Telegram.
Oh, great. Yeah, we can put that video up on the site right now. So if you send me a link to that, I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, let me grab the link. I'm coming.
Of course. And I'm going to pop over here and type npm run dev just to take a look at our site.
Mr. James?
Yeah.
I just realized that I feel like that background image is not very responsive on mobile. Like when it's mobile view, it's like that shape thing I created just covers the whole thing. You don't get to see the background image. Can we work on that too today?
On the home page right here?
No, on the about page. The background image I placed on the first section is not very responsive on mobile.
Okay, so
on the about page.
I know. Yeah, I'm going over there. So if I look at this one on mobile, yeah, so this one is not centered either, which is, we will keep that in mind. And then if I go to the about page, yeah, I see what you mean. We're just getting the corner here. So what we want it to do, this is looking pretty good now. We need to fix that and fix that. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, obviously there's a lot of different things that need to be done right now. And this is good. This is why we have, I think setting the goal of 1 week from now, having this thing live and up and running is a great goal. One, I agree with your point that having it up sooner than that to show a work in progress, I agree that that's a really good idea. And if we can get the technical pieces of who owns the domain and how we're hosting it up and running, we can do that. Right now, in the time we have, would the time be better spent by starting to just make some of the changes we need to make? Or should we do a little bit of project management right now and come up with a plan for how we're going to keep a list of what needs to be done? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's do a little project management. Oh, good. And Josh is here too. So this actually, Josh, turn on your camera. We got to see you. Where is he?
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Hey, turn on your camera so we can say congratulations.
Give me a sec. Yeah, I'm so excited. Well, hello there.
There he is, ABCD.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
What's
whoop.
up, you guys? You did it. You had some patience. I know it was a long journey, man, and we've been talking about it for a long time, but I'm so glad. Congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
You showed up at the perfect time right here, because we were thinking about doing today just a tiny bit differently.
Okay.
We were thinking about maybe using today to really like plot out what needs to happen on this site so that we can get it up and running as soon as possible, like live into the world. And I propose that I think we can do that within the next week. Okay. And so I will go back, we'll do a little bit of technical tweaking of the project itself in just a minute, but if I share my screen again here. All right. So currently the project lives in GitHub in phase account at this ABCD website. So just first basic question, is there an ABCD GitHub account yet?
Yeah.
Is that, so here's what I'm gonna do. Look, I just clicked over here on projects, okay, in GitHub, and then I can click into this, and here you can see we used this project board a while ago, but let's just delete these for now and start a new board today, right? And this is just like Trello or any other Kanban board. And this gives us a way to all communicate with each other about what needs to be done and by whom. Okay. So first of all, we've got a domain. Does somebody own the ABCD domain yet?
No, we haven't made a purchase of it yet. Okay.
So we need to purchase a domain for ABCD. And Josh, is it okay if that's you and Gwendol working on that part?
Sure.
Okay. So if you guys can do that, then once the domain is purchased, I mean, this is something that the whole team should know, right? Can show team how to deploy to sell. Okay. Faye mentioned a couple of other tools for easy deploys like Heroku and Netlify. Same thing with Vercel. So let me just show you this. So actually, so Next is free, right? And their business model is they get you to pay for domain hosting, and it's really easy. So, right, everything you do in development, you're always making a choice between spending money and spending time, right? So for Gimbalabs, for example, we've chosen to spend $20 a month to host the site on Vercel. And so this is what it looks like under the hood. You can see I have a workshop maybe project here too, right? So I have both of these domains, and I have my Vercel account. And once it's set up, what I have to do is just push my changes to a Git repository. I use GitLab for Gimbalabs and Workshop maybe at this point. But once you make those changes, they propagate automatically. It takes like 5 or 6 minutes or something for Vercel to do all this work in the background, that if you did it by hand, if you're not really sure what you're doing, it would take a long time, right? So this makes it really easy to push those changes. This is not your only option, but it's the one I use, and I can definitely recommend it, that it's really helpful. Okay.
Okay. Do you mind dropping a link down in the chat so I can?
Yeah. And so if you make sure to own the domain, oh no, that auto corrected. Nope. Vercel.com. Wow, autocorrect. Come on, Zoom. Vercel.com. Just go there, take a look at that, and you get started for free, right? You have to, it'll be free for a little while actually, until you start getting a whole bunch of traffic. And if this is,
I see.
right, if this doesn't fit in the budget, let me know. We'll look at other options that are less expensive. But again, this is the one we're using. It saves me a lot of time to do it this way. And the beauty is, right, once you push a change, it opens up. Oh, excellent. Okay, Faye's got this video. Yeah, we can add that. And really, these are the two critical steps to deploy our initial site. If we do these as soon as possible, then Juan's suggestion a few minutes ago was, okay, let's present this as a work in progress, right? And this is also what we're doing at Gimbalabs. Our site is not done, right? And we're making little changes to it every day. We're still working on getting some more professional branding assets. But our site is public to the world anyway, because we want to show how we are growing up in real time, right? So even though, and I'll show you, like there's parts of the Gimbalabs site, like this doesn't look bad, but it could be a lot better, right? It could be more professional. And if you go to the playground, which is really important to us, we got this floating video here, we've got 2 links, but it's not clean yet, right? So there's a lot of work to do. We're choosing to do it in real time. And you guys decide how much you're willing to put it out there, but I think it's really cool. And again, if you use a service like this, then anytime you make a little change, boom, it's live, and your site can kind of grow up, right, organically as you go.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this, once again, this is currently in phase repo. It's okay if it's here for now. We'll move it over to the ABCD repo. And then I'll lean on you all just to keep adding to-dos here. So let me show you once again. Here's the project page in GitHub. If you click on projects up here in the top, and then in right here, you can see the Kanban board. So everybody pop in here, add what needs to be done, and we'll organize that as we go. Okay. Once you start on something like that, you move it over to here. When it's done, you move it to done. Okay. So let's just take a spin through the site to see how we're doing. Yeah, we're up and running, so I should be able to go to localhost 3000. And one of the things we were talking about, Josh, right before you popped on, is how this site, it's responsive, but it could be better, right? So we can choose how to center these images. Same thing here, right? We lose the woman on mobile. So maybe we want her to be there. But I like how we've got this behavior going. You see how the shape changes on a smaller screen? Font size changes. That's good responsiveness. And we know we want this site to look really good on mobile. Right, if I go over to my setting, to more tools, developer tools, and I click on mobile, we can see what it would look like on an iPhone 5. So let's once again, let's just go through the process of making this look a little bit better on mobile. I'll do it for you here on the about page. And then you can apply this to the other pages, okay? Oh, but before we do, you know what? I just remembered another thing we were talking about, which is to set up a mailing list. I know that for Afro FinLab, we were using free MailChimp, and that was plenty for our purposes early. So look at creating. Do you have an ABCD or a POA mailing list yet?
No, we don't. We just have a custom email.
Yeah, so I would look into creating a mailing list on MailChimp. I was a beginner when I started looking at it for the podcast, and it was easy to learn how to use it. And then once you have that, set up a contact page was Goofy's idea, and I think that's a great move. All right, and again, you see how this works. Now that I have this to-do list spot, when I'm working on one thing, but an idea comes to my mind, I can just switch over here and I can add something, right? So as I work, I can just keep throwing things in here, and that way I'm never going to lose any of my ideas. Okay, where we want to be here. I don't need Gimbalabs. Okay, so one principle of responsive design is that on a smaller screen, you don't want the margins to be so big, right? On a big screen, of course, it's great to have margins because they look good. It's great to have plenty of padding. But when we're on a smaller screen, we don't want all this extra space. So let's just go look at this element first. I'm going to go into about.js. I'm going to find that element. And you can see we have a big top margin. And then inside this section, we have a margin of 5 and a vertical padding of 9, right? Maybe we just don't want those on smaller screens. And so the easiest thing to do here is in front of these, just type MD colon. And that alone is going to make a big difference. I'll save that. I'll go back over here. And it's still, well, it's centered a little better. That looks a tiny bit better, but I still wish there wasn't all this space around the outside. Where is that coming from? Okay, we've got a few. So this is the cover. This is the blue. So line 18 is the rounded part with a background of blue 500. And then line 19 is inside of that. All right, so we can clean this up a little bit. But first of all, you see this P20 right here. We probably don't want all of that padding on a small screen.
Sorry, Wookie, can you mute? Oh, James, can you mute Wookie? Okay.
Oh, I think she got it. Yeah. So let me just put an MD in front of this one, and I'm going to we got to clean this up a little bit, but I can show you. Let's see, is that going to be better? All right, there's much less padding, right? Maybe I don't want 0 padding, but I like this better than when it was 20. So what if we just say that P is 2 on a small screen, and on anything medium or above, it's 20, right? Now we've got a little bit of padding here. That looks good to me. And we still have a lot of padding on the bigger screen. And that's what we mean by responsive design. What else do we have to change here, right? Like maybe this margin top. Actually, that looks pretty good. So we can leave that. Margin left 0. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Yeah, padding is 5 on that background. Okay. This PT5 and PX5 gives us this nice little band around the edge. I could make that less if I want to. I could make it just 2. Let's see if we like that better. Okay, a little less spacing. So you can decide as you watch this video later, you decide how much padding looks right for mobile. But I like that. I like how that looks. So we've got that padding of the main div. We've got a little bit of padding inside. We've got a big top margin. Does that need to be so much? If I bring that down to 10, yeah, it does need to be that much, right? Because then the header covers this up and we don't want that. So I can keep MT20, that looks fine. And then we've got that, yep, that's good. Now, what is this part doing? This div inside. Let's take a look at what's what. This is the div inside. All right, so we've got the green is the div that creates the rounded shape. And then we've got the blue inside of that. That's this rectangle, right? And so the green is this piece right here on line 18. And the blue rectangle is this. Or actually, that's nothing here. What happens if I just get rid of that? I actually think we don't need that. Does that look okay? Yeah, we didn't need that anyway. That looks cleaner. Good. Yeah, we had some extra stuff there. And then we've got a section inside. That's fine. Oh, and here's another div. Let's just get rid of these empty divs. To sections. This should clean it up. Oh, that was the line though. I liked that line.
It's the line for the section.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That looks good. Width full, it goes all the way across. And it had a little bit of padding. All right, that's a good hack. I like that. Okay, I like that. And then, so we've got that div, and then we've got this section underneath. MX and Y. If I just make both of those 5s, is that okay? Learn more. And maybe I want those to only be on medium as well, just like above. And what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that the learn more is lined up. Now, maybe I could put a little bit more vertical spacing on these, right? So on a smaller screen, let's make MY2 here and MY2 here. Yeah, now there's just enough spacing. That looks good to me.
Mr. James?
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of looks weird without the corresponding div at the top.
Oh, this one?
Is it going to affect?
Sure.
Yeah, I did that because I couldn't get a line and feature on Tailwind, so I had to improvise using the div.
I like that you did that. And here, I just put it back. That's fine. And here, let's add this to our to-do list. On about page, try to replace the, I'm just going to write line div with SVG. All right. And that's something you can try to research on your own. And maybe we should do a little bit of work with SVGs sometime later, but see if you can do that. And so, for example, that's where, like on Gimbalabs, that's where this line comes from. This line right here is an SVG. And you can actually look, if you go to the homepage of Gimbalabs you can actually see this project on GitLab. And you can go through our code and see how I did some of these things. But where is that? That's going to be, that's in pages. That's the index. That line, where did I get that line from? Oh, I know what I did. Yeah, that was part of so actually, this is all part of the heading. So this is welcome to Gimbalabs actually has that line built into it, because when I designed our, where is it? Title heading 1, and this probably isn't big enough for you to see. So just like we did on the site we're working on right now for ABCD, I made a title heading, and that's in my type file. So let me go there. Components, type, and in title heading 1, I have just a little SVG right here. Okay, and you can actually go learn about SVGs at w3.org. And I'm not even using it perfectly here, but it's a placeholder, so I can clean that up later. And I would recommend, yeah, just learn a little bit about how to do that so you can replace the divs. But yeah, for now, those also work. That's great. I like how the spacing looks now, and I still like how it looks on a larger screen. So that looks good to me. And at every size, it's working, right? It works at that size. It works on a smaller screen, and it works on an even smaller screen. And we don't have to worry about this because nobody has a device quite that narrow. So we're good. All right, that's good. And you know what? I think we just fixed something. I was noticing previously how these div lines would sometimes extend beyond the edges of the shape. And it looks like now they're staying inside. I like that. All right, cool. Next, let's just keep scrolling down this page and we'll look at a few more things. I do want to make that background image more centered. What we do looks good. There's kind of a lot of space there, but it's working. That looks good to me. If you see anything that you think we should fix, call it out as I'm scrolling through here. And let me turn this off because that's distracting me. But the size of the text, I'm happy with this. Maybe this header right here shouldn't be fully justified, right? That spacing looks kind of weird. So let's go find that line, build applications for the blockchain. Let's see. Build applications for the blockchain. Heading 3 is in type. Text justify. I'm going to drop the text justify here because I think that spacing doesn't look so good on a small screen. Let me save that. Save that. Yeah, to me, that looks better. Okay, so I just got rid of text justify, which adds the spacing to make it fill up the width of the screen. But personally, I think that looks better. Text justify looks okay here in the paragraph, but let's see what it looks like without it there too, just to see. I could go either way. That looks okay. But if I bring it back, what do people prefer? The squared out text with the extra spacing? Maybe I could just make the text smaller too. It doesn't have to be large. So now it's a little smaller. That kind of looks better. All right, that looks okay to me. Maybe too much vertical spacing here again, but I'll leave that for you as a challenge to change. I think I still like the idea of this div filling the width of the page. but that's something you can go back and try yourself. This definitely looks too narrow. So where is this? Brilliant mind. Here. Okay. So it should be width full on a smaller screen. Oh, but the margins are still quite big. So let's make these margins come into play only on the larger screens as well. Save. Okay, we've got less margin up there, but looks like we need something else. Probably need it here too. That's still not fixing it. Maybe it's this part right here. All right, I can't find. Oh, that's the robot part. Oh, wait. Okay, I was just messing. Oh, it's the same text. I'm sorry. I was just playing around with this piece right here because I didn't realize. Right. You're just using placeholder text. Sorry. Let me just undo a few things then. Because we liked how that looked the other day. Yeah. And maybe you do want, let's just put a P2 in here to give it a little extra space. That looks okay. We might want to think about committing to a darker background and maybe white lettering, so it's easier to see. It's a little bit hard for me to read this when it goes from blue to white to blue, but that's a design decision you can come back to later. Here, okay. You see this P20 right here? Now we are under our mission statement. Yep. And then underneath this header with the curvy line that you have. The reason that this is so skinny on the page is because we have a P20 right here. And so we definitely don't want that to be so big on the smaller screens. And so just by getting rid of that, I fix it right away. But we still might want a little bit of padding. So we can say like P2. And to me on mobile, maybe that's just enough. Maybe 5 looks good, right? Again, this is where you just play with it and you see what you like. Yeah, that looks good. And then maybe we want in these paragraphs, maybe we do want a little bit of padding at the bottom or margin at the bottom. So what if I just do MB4 just to add a little space under each paragraph? That looks good to me on mobile now. I think that works. Okay. And when you go back to this video, you can decide if you're happy with that and what else you want to change. And clearly we still have to come back and fix up these list items and this list. But otherwise that looks good. All right. And then we still need to fix up the founders part. So let's do that really quickly too. So once again, we have a padding 20 around this, but we shouldn't have that on smaller screens. So I put a medium there to create our breakpoint. And look, that's kind of all I had to do. That already looks way better. But maybe you don't want these things to be in a row. Maybe on the smaller screens, you want flex col. I know I'm probably moving too fast right now, but I'm giving you a bunch of things that you can look at and work on, okay? So what this basically says is we're going to use a flex layout no matter what. On a small screen, arrange those things in a column. And if the screen is at least medium, then you can put Josh and Gwendol next to each other, right? So let me save this. Now we should see a flex col right here. And that looks much better to me on bigger screen, it's still next to each other, but on a smaller screen, it's a column. I like that. And so again, same thing down here. We see a big P20, which is too much on a small screen, but looks good on a big screen. So same exact thing, right? Let's just make this the medium breakpoint at above, but make it just P2 at a small breakpoint. And there you go. Okay. Hey, maybe I want to go grab this placeholder div that Wookie made previously. And maybe I want to drop one of those in right here. I don't know. How's that look? That looks kind of nice. I could use a little bit more padding in the footer. So let's head over to the footer. This has padding on large screens and above, but let's just make sure there's a little bit of padding, just like with everything else, on small screens as well. And yeah, that looks nice to me. Maybe we choose to center this, you decide. Okay, so you can come back to that later. This screen looks pretty good on mobile. We still have to style the list on the about page. Okay. And we could turn those into, oh, look, this takes markdown. So look, it turned my tags into, that's really funny. Style the list tags on out. Okay. We do want to add this video, and we also want to create a contact page. So I'm going to leave it to you to look up MailChimp, and let's do this. If nobody gets to this before Wednesday, let's make this our priority for Wednesday. Okay.
Should be done before then, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, if and whatever, that's the thing. We'll go through and we'll troubleshoot some things on Wednesday if we have to, but that's something you can do. Now, really quickly, I want to show you how easy it is to embed a video. Yes.
Tyson.
Okay, so we want to put this video. I'm going to share. I'm going to choose embed. You see it over here. And then I'm just going to copy this code. Copy. I'm going to take this code and move over here. Oops, move over here. And you know what? Let's just put a placeholder for contact, just for me to show you how to do this. So let's make a new page called contact. I know that this video probably is not going to go on the contact page, but just to get you started, okay? We'll add that. We can add a contact link to the nav. Do we already have that? Yeah, we've already got contact. Excellent. Okay, it just doesn't go anywhere yet. It goes back to the home page, which is fine. So now in our nav, we've got a contact link already set up. We're just going to make it go to contact. So I can save that. Now, if I click on that link right now, I'm going to get an error because I didn't do anything to build that page yet. So let's go in here. Oh, do I not have RFC set up on this computer? You kidding me? Yeah, I do. Right, let's do heading 1. This is also going to give me an error because I haven't defined heading 1. So of course I can go here and I can import that from where? from components and type. So this is contact us. Save that, it should be rendering now. Okay. We need a little bit of padding there to make it so it's not hidden by the nav bar. So we can do that inside of this div. Class name, I shouldn't say padding, I should say margin. And let's just put M10 around all of this. That's not quite enough. Let's put MY 20 and MX 10. There we go. That's a fine place to start. It's not, oh, actually that looks okay. Maybe a little less X above the medium breakpoint. So maybe I just want MX5 on the smaller screens. That looks reasonable to me. Okay. And then finally, let's just put, all I'm going to do is create a section tag. And I think I already copied this, right? Copy and paste this in here. View word wrap. Okay, so all I did, I just grabbed this iframe directly from YouTube, save it, and head back here. Now it's too wide for mobile, but that looks great, right? It's no problem to embed this, but we will want to mess around with we want to make the width and the height responsive in this frame. And I actually, because we're at time right now, I have to look up exactly how to do that. So if somebody can beat me to that over the next few days, see if you can make, maybe just search the web for how do I make a YouTube embed responsive, right? You need to wrap the blah, blah, blah. There's something there. Yeah, this could be, I don't know if this is going to be a helpful link, but I'm going to put this on our list of things we do, right? How to make a responsive YouTube embed. And there's a link. Say, maybe this helps. All right, cool. Well, I hope that it was helpful, like just to go through and make a to-do list today, and that this comes in handy and that people can start choosing which things they're going to accomplish, right? I think we're close. And I think that going back to what Juan said, I think if we put this site up exactly as it is right now, I think it would be okay. And then we can show that as a work in progress. But that's up to the three of you, Buki, Faye, and Josh, to make a final decision about when you want to push this live. All right. I'm going to stop my development server. I'm going to git add what we did today. I'm going to commit these changes. This was Dev Course session Friday to April 2021. Push these changes. So we're up to date. All right. What I'm sure I left you with some questions. How are you doing?
This man is not hearing me. I think it's my computer started.
Buki, are you saying something?
Mr. James?
Yeah, Buki.
Yeah, I kind of missed out on how you got that iframe stuff, the embed. Did you right click on the YouTube video and you got the link, or I'm sorry, could you go back to that?
No worries. Yeah, so here I am on just a regular YouTube page, and under every video, there's a share button.
Okay.
You click on the share button, and then one of your choices is embed.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, and then you just copy and paste that into the project. What I don't know exactly how to do is how to make this responsive One thing you can do on mobile, and maybe we can cover this next time if this feels like a good idea. One thing you can do is hide a section on small screens, but show it on bigger ones. So and this is exactly kind of how the nav works, basically, right? When we are on big screens, the nav looks one way, but when we're on small screens, the nav looks different because it gets this hamburger, right? So what you're able to do is just have one version of what shows up on small and another version on big. And so the answer may be not even to embed the video on a small screen, but just to give people a link that they can click on if they're on their phone, whereas on a bigger screen, it'll be embedded there on the page. That's a decision you can make, and there's a few different ways to handle that.
Well, Mr. James, I think the background image is it still responsive? I don't know.
We didn't fix that yet today. I mean, it works, right? So this thing scales, there it is. It's changing size. I like how that looks. But then when you get below a certain size, it doesn't stay centered. And hey, maybe we do want Josh there, but right, you guys decide if you want it to center on the left side or the middle of the screen. And so same thing on about, whoops, I turned off my server. Hold on. Yeah, we didn't quite get to this yet. Because we're going to see the exact same behavior here. It's resizing nicely. I like that behavior. That looks good. But then once we get below here, maybe we want the woman to show up or like the center of the screen. So let's come back to that on Wednesday too. Okay. So I'll write that as a question. Responsive behavior of background images. Okay. Nice. What other questions do you have? And what else can we put on the list for next time?
The SVGs. Okay, we talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, we have that here. Yeah. This is a good resource right here. So I'll add this link. And then MailChimp, which I mentioned, that's just MailChimp.com. And so, yeah, Josh and Gwendol, I would definitely hand setting up MailChimp and setting up the domain to you guys, right? That's the administration work. But I know that MailChimp is free. We never paid for it on the podcast. And it did, we weren't using it that much, right? We just wanted a simple mailing list. And then once you get big enough that you have 1 million people subscribing, you'll pay a little bit, but by that time, hopefully you'll have some more money rolling in, right?
All right.
What else?
I kind of like this, the yellow color palette here on this MailChimp, and it fits right into, our whole like
The POA.
feel and text. Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, right? I mean, you can change colors quickly once the site is made, right? So that's something, that's probably a meeting that all of you should have. I think, if Buki and Faye are going to take a leading role on the site, and then you and Gwendol are doing a lot of the strategy and thinking about, right, design decisions, like what's our logo, what's our color palette, and all that, the four of you could get together, talk through those decisions, and then Faye and Buki can go in and redo things. what's really cool, let me show you this too. So Tailwind has colors built in, but it's not hard to override those colors. So for example, on the Workshop Maybe site, I went into my Tailwind config, and in the theme here, and I'll show you this again sometime if you do decide on colors, I have the light blue from the logo, and I have the orange from the logo, and then I just have a default white and black. And if you look at the Workshop Maybe website, those are actually the only colors you'll see, right? And I'm actually not even using them that much. I'm using them on links right here, okay? But the point is, now that I started adding theme colors right here, none of the other colors in Tailwind even do anything. This, as soon as you start to do this, it overwrites what's out of the box, and then you can have your own custom color scheme, and you can actually call those colors whatever you want. Okay, so you wouldn't need, like if you had a yellow that you like, you don't even have to call it yellow. You could just call it main or something like that. And that way it's easy to make those changes, right? And if I wanted to like change the color of orange everywhere on my site, I could do that just by changing this, and it would go, everything that's orange would change to that different shade.
Interesting.
It's really nice, right? This is customization, right? We're automating, and it saves you time later, right? So I don't worry, I can repeat all of that stuff that I just said, but I just want you to know that that's possible.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Juan's in the chat. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, Juan.
well, Josh, I mean, is Gwendol available now? Are we going to catch up for a few minutes?
Hold on, let me check that.
And Faye and Buki, if you're available to stay on and talk through some of this stuff, of course you're welcome to. But if you have to go, I know that we're over time. And I know that you've got little people running around and everything. So whatever you got to do, okay?
Gwendol.
So long now. Congratulations, guys. Spectacular. The funding
Thank you,
came right on
Juan.
time.
Thank you.
Hey, see you very soon, my friend.
Sure, we'll talk. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah. Take care, brother.
Sure.
Okay, Miss.
Oh man. I think he'll be available in 2 hours.
All right. We might have to wait till the rest of my day is pretty jammed. I could talk. Why am I still recording? Let me stop recording. Hold on. Stop share.